To discuss coordination chemistry problems which is asked in Geoscientist Prelims 2020. First question is, consider the following statements regarding magnetism of two complex. COF6 3- is paramagnetic and high spin complex. Second is, cobalt NS3 6 times 3+ is a diamagnetic and low spin complex. Which of these statements given above is or are correct? So, if you see the answer, if you consider first complex COF6 3-, here cobalt is in +3 oxidation state, so it is going to have D6 electronic configuration, and we know that fluoride is a weak field ligand and octahedral geometry complex, and here is the splitting pattern, so it will split into T2G Eg, and you can see due to weak field ligand this complex will become high spin and there won't be any pairing of electrons will take place. Hence, due to presence of unpair of electrons, this complex is paramagnetic, and since fluoride ligand is weak field, it is going to be high spin complex. And if you come for hexamen cobalt 3 complex, here also cobalt is in +3 oxidation state and it is going to have D6 electronic configuration, and here ammonia ligand is going to act as strong field ligand, and here also the complex is octahedral, and here is the splitting pattern for octahedral complex, that is T2G Eg set of orbitals, and here since ammonia is going to act as strong field ligand, there will be pairing of electrons will take place, hence it is going to form low spin complex. Since there is no unpair of electrons, this complex is diamagnetic in nature. So based on this, both 1 and 2 are correct. That is, COF6 3- is paramagnetic and high spin complex. CONS3 6 times 3+ is diamagnetic and low spin complex. So option C is correct. Consider the following statements for the complex nickel NH3 6 times Cl2. It is an outer orbital octahedral complex. Hybridization of nickel is sp3d2. It is a paramagnetic complex. It is a diamagnetic complex. Which of the statements given above are correct? So here are the options. See the solution. So here this is the complex given, and if you see in this complex nickel is in +2 oxidation state, so it is going to have D8 electronic configuration, and with the help of valence bond theory, so if you see it is going to have sp3d2 hybridization, and here it is going to form outer orbital octahedral complex, because here ammonia is going to act as a weak field ligand, so and hence it is going to carry 2 unpaired electrons in the d orbital. So due to presence of 2 unpaired electron in d orbital, this complex is paramagnetic in nature, and if you see the calculation of spin only magnetic momentum, it is going to be 2.82 Bohr magneton. So now we have seen it is an outer orbital octahedral complex. Nickel is going to have sp3d2 hybridization, and it is a paramagnetic complex. So correct statements are 1, 2 and 3. So option C is correct. Next question, the complex ions nickel Cl4 2- and nickel Cl4 2- are both square planar, both diamagnetic, both paramagnetic and diamagnetic respectively. See the solution. So here in both the complex, nickel will be in +2 oxidation state, so it is going to have D8 electronic configuration. In case of tetrachloronickelate, chloride ligand is going to act as weak field ligand, so hence there will be unpair of electrons in the d orbital, and here you can see it is going to have sp3 hybridization and it is going to form tetrahedral geometry. Since it is going to have 2 unpaired electrons, it is paramagnetic in nature, and if we calculate spin only magnetic momentum, it is going to be 2.82 Bohr momentum. So nickel Cl4 is paramagnetic in nature and it is tetrahedral structure. So if tetracyanonickelate, here cyanide ligand is going to act as strong field ligand, hence there will be pairing of electrons in the d orbital, so hence there won't be any unpair of electrons, so it is diamagnetic complex. And if you see hybridization, it is dsp2 and it is going to form square planar complex. And if you see the magnetic property, it is diamagnetic since it is not containing any unpaired electron. So among the options given, D is correct. Tetrachloronickelate is paramagnetic, tetracyanonickelate is diamagnetic. Next question, consider the following complex. Here are the 4 iron complex. So which one of the following is the order of number of unpaired electron in the above complex? Here we need to choose the order of number of unpaired electrons. So solution is, here if you say in the case of Hexa aqua iron complex, iron will be in +2 oxidation state, it is going to have d6 electronic configuration, and since water is weak field ligand, so there will be 4 unpaired of electrons. Since it is an octahedral complex, so the d orbital will split into T2G Eg. And if you come for second complex, hexacyanoferrate, here iron is in +3 oxidation state, so it is going to have d5 electronic configuration, and we know that cyanide is a strong field ligand. And this is also octahedral complex, the d orbital will split into T2G Eg. And if you see, there is only one unpaired electron in this complex. And if you come for hexacyanoferrate 4-, here iron is in +2 oxidation state, so hence it is going to have d6 electrons, and here the cyanide ligand is a strong field ligand, and if you see the splitting, it is going to, d orbital is going to split into T2G Eg. Since cyanide is a strong field ligand, so there is complete pairing of electron will take place, and this complex is diamagnetic, that is, it is going to have 0 unpaired electrons. And one more aqua complex, here iron is in +3 oxidation state, so it is going to have d5 electrons, and we know that water is a weak field ligand. Since it is an octahedral complex, there won't be any pairing of electrons because water is a weak field ligand. And here in this complex, you can see there is 5 unpaired of electrons. So based on this, which complex is going to have higher number of unpaired electron is, so this complex is going to have 4 unpaired electrons. In complex, here there is 1 unpair of electrons, and if you come for this complex, it is going to have 0 unpaired electrons, and this complex it is going to have 5 unpaired electrons. So now if you see, 4 is having 5 unpaired electrons, fourth complex, whereas first complex it is going to have 4 unpaired electrons, second complex it is going to have 1 unpaired electron, and third complex is 0. So option A is correct. Next question, the density of ligands glycinate, immunodiestic acid and nitralotriacetic acid are. So here we need to mention the densities of given ligand. So if you see the definition of density, it is the number of donor atoms present in a ligand that bind or coordinate to a central metal atom in coordination complex. So this is the definition of density, that is number of donor atoms present in a ligand that is going to bind or coordinate to the central metal atom in coordination complex. And here we need to find the densities of given 3 ligands, that is glycinate. So this is the structure of glycinate, and this glycinate is going to act as a bidentate ligand, means it is going to have 2 coordinating atoms. that is nitrogen and oxygen. And if you come for imino-diacetic acid, so this is the structure of imino-diacetic acid, and it is a tridentate ligand, means it is going to have 3 donor atoms, 2 oxygen and 1 nitrogen. And if you come for nitrilo-triacetic acid, so this is a tetradentate ligand, means here it is going to coordinate to the metal through 4 donor atoms, that is 1 nitrogen, 3 oxygen atoms. So based on this, A is correct, that is glycinato, it is going to bind, it is going to act as bidentate ligand. Imino-diacetic acid, it is a tridentate ligand, and nitrilo-triacetic acid, it is a tetradentate ligand. Question: which one of the following is the IUPAC name of the complex K3FeCN6? So here K plus is a cation and FeCN6 3 minus is anion, and this is an anionic complex. And here iron is in +3 oxidation state. Here ligand is cyanide, so we need to replace this IDE by O, that is cyano. And since it is an anionic complex, metal name should be ended with ATE, that is here it is ferrate. So as per the IUPAC nomenclature, first we need to name cation. So here the cation is potassium, and there are 6 cyanide ligands, so hence it is hexacyano, and this is an anionic complex, so ferrate, and iron is in +3 oxidation state. So IUPAC nomenclature will be potassium hexacyanoferrate 3. So option B is correct. Question: which one of the following complex will not show geometrical isomerism? So these are the 4 complex. We need to identify a complex which does not show geometrical isomerism. Look at first complex. Here chromium complex, here there are 4 ligand and 2 chloride ligands, so hence it is going to have cis and trans isomerism. And if you come for the next complex, ethylene diamine cobalt complex, so here there are 2 ethylene diamine ligands and 2 chloro ligands, so hence there is possibility of geometrical isomerism, that is it can exist as trans and cis. And if you come for third complex, it is a cobalt complex, pentamino nitro cobalt complex, so this complex will not show geometrical isomerism. So option C is correct, that is option C will not show geometrical isomerism. So this platinum complex is also going to show cis trans isomerism. Next question: which one of the following complex exhibit optical isomerism? So here are the 4 complex, so we need to identify a complex which will show optical isomerism. So if we take a look at platinum complex, so it is going to exhibit geometrical isomerism, but these isomers are optically inactive because they possess plane of symmetry. Hence cis platinum complex and trans platinum complex both are optically inactive. And if you come for the third complex, that is a cobalt ethylene diamine dichloro complex, so this is also optically inactive because this is also going to possess a plane of symmetry. So this is optically inactive. So we left with only cobalt ETTA complex, and that complex is optically active. So here is the cobalt ETTA complex. So it is going to exist in DL form. So 2 enantiomeric forms are possible for this cobalt ETTA complex. So here in this cobalt ETTA complex, ETTA is going to act as hexadentate ligand. Cobalt ETTA complex going to exhibit optical isomerism. Next question: consider the following complex ion: ethylene diamine, tris ethylene diamine cobalt 3 complex, cis ethylene diamine dichloro cobalt complex, and trans cobalt complex Which one of the complex ions given above show optical activity? If you see the solution here, this tris ethylene diamine cobalt complex is going to exhibit optical isomerism, means it is going to exist as two enantiomeric forms. So here is the two enantiomeric forms, means here these two are non-superimposable mirror images. And if you come for cis ethylene diamine dichloro complex, this is also going to exhibit optical isomerism. That is, cis form is going to have a non-superimposable mirror image, hence it is going to exhibit optical activity. And this trans ethylene diamine cobalt complex, already we have discussed, it is optically inactive. Why? Because it is going to possess plane of symmetry. So here 1 and 2 going to exhibit optical activity, whereas third complex, trans complex, is optically inactive. Next question, sodium nitroprusside when added to an alkaline solution of sulfide ion gives red colored solution. The red color solution is due to the formation of. So this is an sodium fusion extract test which is used for detection of elements. Here the element is sulfur, means when we fuse sodium metal with organic compound, it is going to form sodium sulfide. So this sodium sulfide, upon treatment with sodium nitroprusside, and it is going to form a red or purple colored solution due to formation of NOS. So this is the complex which is formed in the detection of sulfur by using sodium nitroprusside. So here the NOS is a ligand that is known as nitroso-sulfonide ligand, and based on this reaction the complex formed option E. So here it is N4. So these are the questions asked in the geoscientist examination related to coordination chemistry. Thank you.